What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Axis Football Franchise Mode. Want to do a quick season for you guys to show you what this is all about. Obviously, you see multiple different ways you can play the game. For time's sake, I'm going to simulate this game, actually simulate the whole season for that matter, and kind of go through and talk to you about what this presents. And I know a lot of you are going to be taken back by the simplicity of this, but truthfully, outside of the interface being one screen, this is essentially, minus a free agency and salary, what most games have. It's just all kind of pushed together on one page. So as you go through your season, there's some things I've noticed that I don't exactly like. You're going to see here 2 teams went undefeated, and then also half the league basically went under 500. Don't know how realistic that is. But you go through here, you take a look at your player progressions, and this is where you can watch your players develop or fail depending on how you've drafted or how that player's potential is ranked versus things like their playing time and their performance. So a very good formula so far from what I've seen. Then you go in, you start your draft, which again, pretty simplistic. I know some people will be taken back by the overall actually being shown to you, but there's some potential and things in the background that really don't make that the ultimate end-all be-all of a player. So you can go through here, select your position, try to determine where your weaknesses is, where your strengths are, try to draft that diamond in the rough, if you will. And just for argument's sake here, we'll go through and draft a few players. Now, I will say I've got some issues with the franchise mode thus far. I've already reached out to Danny and tried to discuss what's causing those and determine some resolutions for them. As we go back into the roster, you'll see one of the things that I was initially taken back by was some of the age of some of the players as we go through the cuts. But go ahead and wrap out the draft here. And then once you've drafted your final kicker or punter who's going to make the team all the world better in the 7th round, you'll go through and you'll finalize your roster. And here is a very basic way of making the cuts on your team. You basically select who you don't want, who you don't need, and then move on with your team, and they can move on by being deleted from the game's files. So this is what I talked about, a 35-year-old running back, probably not the most realistic with simulation football or even with professional football in mind. Yes, I realize there's players like Frank Gore, but that's not always the case. It's actually the exception. I've noticed a lot of times there are older players in this game. Maybe something that just needs to be reworked and tweaked just a little bit. Now, once you've went through here and we finish up our last cut or two, you'll have the capability to start a whole new season by just closing out. You start your new season, and then you're back to square one in about, what, 2.5 minutes? You can go through, simulate the following year's first game, and see how your team performs now that you have had the ability to adjust it ever so slightly. So with that said, appreciate you guys checking this video out. You know by now that I will be back in the week with more commentary.